going on, guys? I am Kadarius Washington, and y'all are checking out the Sports Rundown. All right, so I have a couple of WNBA notes for you today. Item number one, the WNBA Playoffs officially begin 1 month from today. And I haven't done this in a little while, but we're going to take a look at the playoff standings as far as the W is concerned. I think the 2 through 5 race, I think that's going to be pretty interesting, and I think that 6 through 8 is going to be interesting. As I've said all throughout the second half of the W season, I think we're going to have a situation where we have 5 teams fighting for 3 spots, maybe 4, but 5 teams is from the 6 through 8, 4 to 5. We'll call it 4 to 5. Fighting for that 6 through 8 spot. So starting at number 1, you got the Minnesota Lynx right now with the best record in the sport, and they're going to finish with the best record in the sport by like 5, 6, 7 games. So the number 1 seed there, I think that's decided. Number 2, you have the Atlanta Dream following their win last night against the Seattle Storm, and I'm going to get to Seattle in a little while. But after that win last night to push them into that 2 seed, a lot of people are ready to go ahead and give Carl Smesko the Coach of the Year award, and I think he's going to win it too, but I still think it's still a little bit of a race between him, Natalie Nakase of Golden State, and Nate Tibbetts of Phoenix. But I think Smesko has a really good case here. I mean, his first year in the W, his system that he brought with him from Florida Gulf Coast has translated superbly for this Atlanta Dream team. You've got a lot of players there having career years. You have Alicia Gray, who is an MVP candidate. You've got Naz Hillman, who I think right now is a lock to win 6th Player of the Year. And how about that game Ryan Howard had last night, especially at the end of the third quarter when she scored those 9 points in 30 seconds. That was absolutely crazy there. And I'll tell you this Atlanta team, they're looking really dangerous here. They really look like a dark horse title contender to me. So the Atlanta looking pretty dangerous there. They're at number 2. Number 3, the New York Liberty. Of course, the Liberty, they've been dealing with some injuries as of recent. Of course, they just got back Kennedy Burke. Niara Sabali's been dealing with injury, and Breanna Stewart has been dealing with injury. But Stewart said that she plans on coming back right before the end of the month. And Emma Mieseman, who signed with the Liberty just a few weeks ago, so far she has been just as advertised for this New York Liberty squad. She has looked absolutely incredible in the games that she's played in. So the New York Liberty, of course, the reigning champs, they're at number 3. And at number 4, you've got Phoenix, another team who I think is really dangerous. I mean, that big 3 in Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper, and Satu Sabali. They have done an absolutely phenomenal job this year. They've been getting a lot of contributions from their undrafted rookies, and of course, DeWanna Bonner coming in has worked wonders for this squad. Sammy Whitcomb's been great. So this Phoenix team, they're looking really dangerous here at number 4. And number 5, you got the Las Vegas Aces, who are on an absolute tear. I mean, they are red hot. And I was saying a few weeks ago that this Aces team was in big trouble, and I said that this Aces team was probably in danger of losing in the first round. But I'll say this, Jewel Lloyd deciding to come off the bench might have been the best thing to happen to the Las Vegas Aces this season. And Asia Wilson, who I've said a few weeks ago, despite the Aces having their struggles, Asia Wilson is still having an Asia Wilson season, and Asia Wilson is absolutely playing her way into the MVP conversation. I don't think she's going to win it. I still like Fee to win the MVP, but Asia Wilson, I mean, has been absolutely incredible in putting up all of these ridiculous numbers in the game. I like Asia to win Defensive Player of the Year. I picked her before the season. But this Aces team, they're looking really dangerous here and looks like they're in contention for that, for a top 4 spot. Right now, they're a game out of it. So that 2 through 5, that is going to be an interesting race there. And then going to 6 through 8, you've got Indiana at number 6, who the injury bug is biting at the absolute wrong time for the Indiana Fever. Of course, no Sydney Colson and no Ari McDonald for the rest of the year as they're still dealing with injuries. Caitlin Clark so far has yet to play since the All-Star break. I mean, of course, suffering that groin injury right before All-Star and has yet to play so far in the second half. They signed Odyssey Sims a day or a couple of days after that Chicago Sky game. And Indiana, they looked rough in that game on, I think it was the other night, Tuesday night, against the Dallas Wings. And you could tell that Indiana was missing a true point guard in there. So Indiana at number 6, that's something to pay attention to. The Golden State Valkyries at number 7. Now, listen, like I said earlier this week, I would really love for Natalie Nakase to win Coach of the Year. But I think the thing that's going to hurt Nakase's case ultimately is the Valkyries' road record, as the Valkyries right now are 7-10 on the road. And, of course, the Valkyries having to deal with playing the rest of the season without their all-star in Kayla Thornton. But I'll say this. There's a lot of juju going on with this Golden State Valkyrie team, and especially that absurd home field advantage that they have when they play at Valhalla. So I think the Valkyries, I think they're just going to squeak into the postseason, but that's another team to keep an eye on. And then you have the Seattle Storm at the 8th seed, who are in some really big trouble now in the middle of a free fall. And I'll say this. The Seattle Storm ought to be absolutely ashamed of themselves. The Seattle Storm have lost 6 games in a row. The Seattle Storm right now are below 500 for the first time in a very long time. Before the All-Star break, the Seattle Storm were a 4 seed, playing for a chance to potentially be a top 3 seed, but right now they are barely hanging on to that 8th seed by a half game. And I'll tell you this, their saving grace was that the LA Sparks lost the other night to the Liberty, or else they would have been the 9th seed right now, out of the playoff field. And I'll tell you this, if the Seattle Storm miss the playoffs altogether this year, 2 things have to happen. Number 1, Noel Quinn's got to go. And it's unfortunate because I like Noel Quinn. But a few weeks ago, I was calling the Seattle Storm team a championship contender. They were playing some really good basketball. I mean, of course, the high usage of the starters and not really dipping into the bench and having all those issues with the bench have played into it. And, of course, the Seattle Storm having the toughest schedule in the league post All-Star break, that's definitely played into this. But if the Seattle Storm miss the playoffs, I don't think Noel Quinn is going to survive this. And like I say, it's unfortunate because I like Quinn. And also, the Seattle Storm, they're going to have to blow this team up. Now, on Monday, I said I really wasn't sure about it, but now I'm sure. They miss the playoffs, they're going to have to blow this team up and start over. And now, along with that, you're getting along with the losing streak, you're getting reports that Alicia Clark requested a trade out of there after teammates constantly got into it with her in the locker room, which, oh, by the way, is the same reason that Jewel Lloyd wanted to get out of there earlier this year. I mean, there is definitely issues going on in that locker room. I mean, of course, we don't know about it. These are reports, but there's definitely some smoke going on there in that locker room. They're just losing all of these games. They have a very tough, brutal schedule ahead. This has turned into an absolute mess for the Seattle Storm. And right now, they are in really big trouble of missing the playoffs, which we didn't think was even going to be a possibility a few weeks ago. But now they are in a lot of trouble here, and they ought to be absolutely ashamed of themselves. So the Seattle Storm at number 8. At number 9, you got the LA Sparks, who I think are a very dangerous threat to get into the postseason. They've been playing well. They've been playing absolutely exceptional basketball since the All-Star break. So the Sparks there at number 9. At number 10, you got the Mystics. I know people are still saying to watch out for the Mystics. I'm kind of down on the Mystics. I mean, I don't think they get in. Now, they're still feisty. They're still a feisty bunch, but I still think they still just missed the postseason. They're there at number 10, and, of course, Dallas is done, Chicago's done, and, of course, Connecticut is done. So that's item number 1 there. And item number 2, speaking of Connecticut, looks like the Connecticut Sun are in the little bit of a custody battle here. So here's the thing. So, and Annie Costable of Front Office Sports, she reported the story. So last week, we got the report that Celtics minority owner Steve Pagliuca agreed to a deal to buy the Connecticut Sun and move them to Boston. But Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, apparently never presented the sale to the Board of Governors, which of course have the final say on the matter of whether or not this thing could be official. And then former Bucks co-owner Mark Lazary matched Pagliuca's offer and wants to move the team to Hartford. But the WNBA really wants a franchise in Houston, and they would rather prefer the Sun to move there and would, quote, favor a deal with the Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta if he's willing to match the sale price and pay the relocation fee. So Connecticut looks like they're in this custody battle here, and this thing with the sale is turning into an absolute mess. Now listen, I honestly would not be mad at either option if they moved to Boston. I wouldn't be mad if they stayed in Connecticut, and I've been screaming for years that the WNBA should have a franchise in Houston. Of course, the history with the Houston Comets, the very first dynasty in WNBA history. But this whole sales situation is turning into a mess here. I mean, as if the WNBA has enough issues now with the whole CBA situation and potentially facing a lockout, and now you got this custody battle here with this franchise. Now, I thought Houston was going to get a franchise when they were in the middle of the whole expansion thing, but of course, we got Portland and Toronto next year, and then we got Cleveland, Philly, and Detroit in 29 and 2030. But the WNBA, they need to go ahead and get this thing resolved because, man, this is a mess. So they got to get that taken care of. Like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again. And also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. And I will see y'all the next time. Peace.